Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to be unboxing the WorkSharp Elite Knife Sharpening Kit. Whether you already have an automatic knife sharpener or you do it by hand using a stone, this video might be a watch for you. So you ready? Let's get into this. Okay, this is the WorkSharp Precision Adjust Elite Knife Sharpening Kit. WorkSharp sells all these different things individually, but I picked this up because it's a kit and it includes pretty much everything you're going to need for a really wide variety of knives. So this isn't just for kitchen knives, it does a lot of other stuff as well. Right here you can see a picture of everything that comes in the kit. You got a snazzy carrying case. You've got these 3 different rods that come in the box. And then right here you have the main chassis, the stand, and an adjustment dial on top. If we look on the side of the box right here, you get a little bit of information about the engineering of the knife sharpening kit. And then on the back, we have a breakdown of all the pieces. You've got a coarse rod that does 220, 320, and 400 grit. You've got a fine abrasive rod that does 600, 800 grit, and ceramic. And then you have a third rod down here that can do serrated knives. That's something that I didn't think these types of kits could even do, so that was pretty cool to find out. The sharpener has a 3-year warranty, so that's always nice to know. And then right here you can see a list of the different kinds of knives that this thing is good for. You can do hunting knives, pocket knives, kitchen knives, and like I just said before, serrated knives. Okay, opening this up. Looks like the whole thing comes already in the case. Okay, let's get this unzipped. Let's see what we got here. Pretty cool presentation. The base and everything is all strapped in here. There's our base right here. Then we have our main unit right here. This is where the magic happens. You can see that there's an adjustment here on the side, and that adjustment is for the angle of the blade on your particular knives. If you're going to sharpen your knives with this, it's a good idea to find out exactly what angle your particular knives are at and use that number, otherwise you can really jack them up. Okay. Right here, we have our clamp. It's got some magnets on the back here, and that's what holds it in place, I assume. Looks like there is adjustment on this as well. And right over here, we have our 3 rods. Let's check this out. All right, it comes on this nifty little plastic doodad. Looks like you can put some screws into a wall and hang these if you want to. There's room for a 4th rod right here, but obviously we only have the 3 in our kit. Okay, I'll just take one of these off right here, so you can see it up close. And that's what she looks like. And I'm assuming this thing right here spins around. So you got the 600 grit right there. If I turn this, then that's the 800. And then right here, we got the ceramic right there. This one right here is the one with the leather on it. And this one right here has the 220, the 320, and the 400 grit on it. Pretty simple thing. Looks like it's pretty straightforward. Can't wait to try this thing out. Okay, let's take a look at the instructions really quick. The booklet on the very front page shows you how to set up the sharpener. Pretty self-explanatory, there's only a few parts. Then up here it shows you how to choose your angle and shows you a bunch of examples of different types of knives and what angle to use on those. Right here you have a specific section for Western and Eastern style knives. Eastern would be stuff more like Japanese knives, and Western is more like the European knives. You can see there's a 5% difference on the degree setting for those 2 different types of knives. So that's very important. Make sure you don't mess that up. You can ruin your knives if you're not doing that right. This next section shows you how to use the machine to sharpen. And then the next panel is for honing, which I really didn't think this machine would be able to do, but evidently it can. This last panel shows you how to choose your grit and what you might want to use those different grits for. If we flip this over onto the back, you've got your warranty information. And then over here, we have some tips and tricks on how to get the best performance out of your knife sharpener. But enough of that. Let's see how this sucker works. Okay, so we've got our base right there. The chassis snaps into the base, just like that. We're gonna do a test sharpen on my Santoku knife. So we're gonna take our medium rod here. This slides in right here into there, like that. And we're gonna stick the clamp right in here. It's held in with magnets, so you can see it just kind of sucks it in there. You can firmly push on it to make sure it's in there, but obviously it's in there. Then we're gonna slide this way to loosen the clamp up. There we go. So I can hold our knife really well. Okay, now we're gonna adjust this knob right here to get this arrow down to the angle that we want our knives to be at. Right in the instruction book, it said that 15% is where you want to be for Eastern style knives, but I know that my globals are supposed to be around 18 degrees. So we're just gonna set that just about like that. And if you're not sure where that is, you've got the 20 up here, and then you have all these lines here on the other side that help you line up all the increments in between. All right, since we have a bigger knife, we're not gonna leave this oriented like this because you're supposed to put the knife on and then turn it back like this again. But the global knife we're gonna be sharpening is a lot taller than that. So we will just leave this like this. We'll pull this off and we're gonna put this directly onto our knife. Okay, so you wanna line this up to the spine right in the middle of the blade. You wanna squeeze this together and we're gonna turn this thing until it gets nice and tight. We don't want the knife to move around too much, so you want to make sure it's pretty tight, but don't tighten it so much that you're going to break this. Remember, that thing is mostly plastic, so we don't want to screw that up. Okay, we'll move this out of the way, and this is going to go right back into here, just like so. And now that we have this on here, I'm actually going to change plans. This is our sharpening blade, but we're going to take this off. This one's got a much coarser grit, and we're going to use this to shape. So I think we're going to use the 320 grit. We got these little rubber pieces on here that you can move around, and that will limit the amount of travel of this thing right here. So really, the first thing we're going to do is shape the knife to create a burr, and then we're going to sharpen it. We're going to start at the base of the blade, and we're going to do this up and down, moving towards the front of the blade. Like that. Then we're going to start all the way in the back and do this a couple of times. Just be careful that you are moving your hand around near a blade, so don't go too fast or you're going to end up cutting yourself or something. What? Just take it nice and slow. Also remember that you don't want tons and tons of pressure on this either. Now you're going to keep doing this until you can kind of feel a burr all the way down this. You can feel it whenever you're doing this. Okay, once we finish that side, we're going to flip this over and do the other side. You can either tilt this back, push this button in here, and then flip the whole knife over like that, and then let it go. Now we're going to be going the opposite direction. Remember, you want to work from the base of your blade towards the tip. So we're doing the exact same thing on this side. Remember, you don't want to do this back and forth. You want to start at the base, go towards the front, and then lift it up and come back to the back again. Okay, now we want to take this guy out of here, and then we're going to get the finer one out, set this to 600 grit, because I'm actually going to do 600 and then 800. Remember, you start more abrasive and then you get less abrasive as you continue on. Also remember that the amount of strokes you take on each side of the blade should be identical. So we went about 4 times on this side, it should have been 4 times on the other side. The sharpening portion is going to be the same. Hey, by the way, if this is your first time here and you want to learn some cool new recipes, get some great cooking tips and tricks and all sorts of other kitchen related things, then start now by subscribing to the channel and clicking the notification bell so you never miss a thing. I didn't really show you how to hone because really I'm just doing a quick demo on this thing for you. But now we are going to take this out of here. We're going to get this out of the way. Oh, and by the way, that little cardboard that came installed in here, you want to use that in the clamp and then just clamp it back closed again and keep that for storage because evidently this keeps this from getting all screwed up on the inside. I'm gonna wash this knife really quick and we're gonna take a look at the blade. Oh, by the way, if you're an idiot like me and you just did this over the top of a cutting board, make sure you wash your cutting board really well because you're gonna have all kinds of metal fragments on this thing now. In fact, you can see them all right there. Don't try to prep any food on the thing until you do that because that's just asking for a disaster. Now, on these I've used automatic knife sharpeners on these a few times, so I'll be able to make a pretty good comparison as to which one did a better job. If you're looking at this really closely, you can see that that edge looks pretty darn good. All the way across here, looks nice and consistent. And on that side, that's looking pretty darn good. Now let's feel this. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's really, really sharp. In fact, I'm gonna cut something for you really quick just to see how well that sharpener worked. Don't worry, I know I haven't cleaned this cutting board yet, but I'm not gonna eat this orange, so we're fine. Okay, so if we're gonna cut through here. Ooh, that's good. Yeah, this does a pretty nice job, and I'm sure I could fine tune this thing a little bit more to get better results as well. That's a really shitty orange, isn't it? Wow, look at that. That's what happens when you live in the damn desert. For the vast majority of households, knives don't typically get sharpened often enough. And if you talk to the experts, they'll tell you that dull kitchen knives are the #1 reason for kitchen mishaps. If you don't have a decent sharpener and you're not comfortable with the sharpening stone, then something like this might be just up your alley. Over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be testing these things with all sorts of different knives, and after I finish all that testing, I'll be back with a full product review. If you'd like a little bit more information about Work Sharp knife sharpeners, I do have an Amazon affiliate link to them down in the description of the video. If you buy anything through those links, I do make a small commission, but it doesn't change the price that you pay, 1 cent. Hey, Joe's Phenomenal now has channel memberships. For most people, you can see a join button down below the video window that you can click and see what type of perks I'm offering. If you're using an iOS device, you might not be able to see it, and if that's the case, I do have a link down in the description of the video as well. If you like this video, then you just might like this video right here where I did a review for Ninja's Never Dull knife set. That set comes with an integrated knife sharpener right in the block, and it actually does a pretty good job. Well, that's it for now. I hope to see you back again here really soon, and until that time, I'm Joe, and I hope you have a phenomenal day. Take it easy.